The airport was loud with overlapping announcements and the rustle of hurried travelers. Jessica balanced a sleeping 6-year-old in her arms and an overstuffed diaper bag on her shoulder. Maya's head rested against her chest, her breath warm and even. Jessica's back ached, but she told herself she was fine. She always did. When she finally reached the gate, a familiar voice called her name. "Jessica? Jessica Lane?" She turned, startled. A tall man stood near the window, dressed in a sharp navy suit that looked both expensive and effortless. It took her a moment to recognize him. "Ethan Cole?" she said, disbelief softening into a tired smile. "Wow, it's been years." They'd gone to college together, a pair of dreamers once convinced they'd conquer the world. Now, standing under the sterile light of an airport terminal, both of them looked older, weathered in different ways. Ethan's success had become public over the years. Tech company, magazine covers, charity boards. Jessica's life, meanwhile, had been built on quieter victories. Surviving rent increases, keeping Maya fed, learning to smile through fatigue. "Maya is my world," she said when he asked about her daughter. "But that doesn't mean I don't struggle. There's exhaustion, money stress, always wondering if I'm doing enough." "I didn't mean to diminish that," Ethan said quickly. I guess I envy you. You have something real. I've been chasing success that feels more hollow every year." Their conversation was interrupted by the boarding call. Jessica looked at her ticket. 32B. Middle seat, back of the plane. Ethan glanced at his own. First class. He hesitated, then said, "This might sound strange, but would you let me upgrade you and Maya to sit with me? Not as charity. I'd just like the company, someone who knew me before all this." Jessica's instinct was to refuse. Pride was her armor. But just then, Maya stirred awake and rubbed her eyes. "Mommy, is it time to get on the plane?" "Soon, sweetheart," Jessica said softly. Then she looked at Ethan and saw something she hadn't expected. Loneliness. "Ethan, this is Maya," she said. "My daughter." Ethan crouched down, smiling. "Hi, Maya. I hear this is your first time flying. Would you and your mom like to sit in the special seats at the front of the plane? They're more comfortable, and you can see everything." Maya's eyes lit up. "Really? Can we, Mommy?" Jessica hesitated a moment longer before nodding. "All right. Thank you." The flight to Seattle became something neither of them anticipated. Ethan proved surprisingly good with Maya, turning turbulence into a game, answering her endless questions about clouds and wings. Between those moments, he and Jessica talked quietly, as if no time had passed at all. "I married someone I barely knew," she confessed. "I thought stability was enough. He left when Maya was 2. Haven't heard from him since." Ethan's expression softened. "I'm sorry." "I'm not," she said after a pause. "I learned what I'm capable of." He nodded. "I kept meeting people who saw the CEO, not the person. Maybe I stopped letting anyone see the real me." As the plane began its descent, silence settled comfortably between them. Then Ethan turned, voice almost hesitant. "Jessica, could we stay in touch? Not romantically, just as old friends who found each other again. I think we could both use that." Jessica looked out the window at the clouds breaking open to reveal the city below. "Ethan, I need to be clear," she said. "My life isn't fancy. It's soccer practice and grocery lists. If we're friends, it has to be real. No pretending." "I understand," he said. "Honestly, I'd like to see that life. Maybe Maya would let me come to a game sometime." In the months that followed, Ethan did come to those games. He learned to cheer for small victories, to sit on cold metal bleachers with the other parents, to laugh when Maya tripped and popped right back up. Jessica occasionally let him help with expenses, new cleats, a ride when her car broke down, but always in ways that felt mutual, never pity. What began as a chance encounter in an airport became something rare and grounding. Jessica found support without strings. Ethan found connection without performance. Together, they discovered that success and struggle are not opposites, but parallel forms of loneliness, and that friendship, when honest, can bridge even the widest gaps. One day, after another Saturday practice, Maya ran up to Ethan holding a plastic trophy. "Look, Uncle Ethan! We won second place!" He crouched down and smiled, taking the small, shining thing as if it were priceless. "I'm proud of you," he said. And for once, he truly meant it. Sometimes the richest people are those who rediscover what matters. And sometimes the most powerful gift you can offer isn't wealth or rescue. It's presence. Weeks turned into months, and the rhythm of their lives began to overlap in small, unexpected ways. Ethan started showing up at the community center on Saturdays, not in a tailored suit, but in jeans and a faded hoodie. He brought snacks for the team, learned the names of the other parents, and cheered louder than anyone when Maya scored her first goal. Jessica watched him from the sidelines, a mix of amusement and quiet admiration softening her guarded heart. She'd met enough people who promised to show up and didn't. Ethan, to her surprise, did. One afternoon after practice, as the sun dipped low and the kids ran laughing across the field, Ethan turned to her. "You know, I haven't checked my phone in 2 hours," he said. "That's probably a record for me." She smiled. "You'll survive. The world won't end." He nodded, chuckling. "I think I used to believe it would." Jessica studied him for a moment. Beneath the ease of his laughter, she could see the quiet ache that came from years of striving. "You're changing," she said softly. "Maybe I'm just finding what I lost," he replied. "Peace, maybe. Or purpose." It wasn't a fairy tale transformation. Jessica still worked double shifts sometimes, still came home bone-tired. Ethan still had board meetings, investors, and headlines to manage. Their lives remained separate, defined by different realities. But somewhere between those worlds, they met halfway. He took Maya to the zoo on her birthday when Jessica couldn't get the day off. She helped him pick out a modest apartment near the park, somewhere that felt human again after years in glass towers. It was a friendship built not on romance or rescue, but on presence, two people learning to be real again. One evening, months later, Jessica found herself sitting on Ethan's small balcony overlooking the city lights. Maya was asleep inside after watching cartoons with him. The air was crisp, carrying the faint scent of rain. Ethan poured them both tea and said quietly, "You know, I used to think happiness came after I earned enough, built enough, proved enough. But it's strange. These days, happiness looks a lot like sitting on a balcony with someone who doesn't expect anything from me." Jessica smiled faintly. "Maybe that's what real connection is. No expectations. Just honesty." They sat in silence for a while, the city humming softly beneath them. Then Jessica said, "You once said success felt hollow. Does it still?" He thought for a moment. "Not as much. Because now, when I think about what matters, I picture Maya's soccer games. And this, talking with you." Her eyes softened. "Then maybe you finally found what you were chasing all along." He looked at her, gratitude in his expression. "Maybe we both did." The friendship endured, quiet but constant. Ethan became family, not in name, but in presence. Holidays, birthdays, even the little moments that stitched ordinary life together. He never tried to take up more space than he was given, and Jessica never let pride stop her from accepting kindness when it was freely offered. And somewhere along the way, they both stopped feeling like they were missing something, because the truth, they realized, was simple. Life rarely gives you what you expect, but sometimes it gives you exactly what you need. In the crowded airport months ago, two lives brushed past each other like strangers. Now, they had become proof that sometimes the smallest decision, accepting an unexpected seat upgrade, can change the course of a life forever. The rain drizzled softly against the window of a cozy cafe in downtown Seattle. The air smelled of roasted coffee and wet pavement. Inside, a young woman with dark curls and bright eyes sat by the window, flipping through a nursing textbook. Maya Harper, now 17, looked every bit like her mother once had, determined, kind, and quietly strong. Her laughter carried across the cafe as she spoke to the man seated across from her, his hair now dusted with silver at the temples. Ethan Cole smiled as she explained a medical concept with enthusiasm. "So basically," she said, "the heart compensates for low blood volume by increasing its rate, but that can only last so long before it burns itself out," Ethan finished softly. "I remember your mom saying something like that once." Maya grinned. "Yeah, she says that about people too." Ethan chuckled, stirring his tea. "She's right. The heart can't run on empty forever." The cafe door opened, and Jessica stepped in, shaking off her umbrella. Her once tired eyes now held the calm confidence of someone who had weathered storms and found her peace. She spotted them and smiled. "There's my team," she said, joining them at the table. Ethan rose automatically, still a gentleman after all these years. "Study break?" Jessica asked her daughter. Maya nodded. "Ethan was helping me with anatomy. He's actually really good at this stuff." Jessica smirked. "He's good at a lot of things, including making you eat lunch, I see." Maya laughed, holding up her sandwich. "You two act like I'm still 7. Ethan exchanged a knowing glance with Jessica. "In some ways, you always will be," he said gently. When Maya left for the restroom, Jessica and Ethan sat in comfortable silence for a while. "You did it," Ethan said finally. "You raised a remarkable young woman." Jessica smiled. "We did it," she corrected softly. "You were there too, Ethan. Maybe not in the traditional sense, but you were there. She learned about kindness and integrity from you as much as she did from me." He looked down, humbled. "You gave me something too, Jessica. A family, when I didn't even know I needed one." For a moment, the rain filled the quiet between them. Then Jessica reached across the table, resting her hand on his. "We both found something we didn't expect that day at the airport," she said. "Maybe that's what life is, a series of missed flights and unexpected arrivals." Ethan smiled, eyes soft with memory. "And somehow, the seat upgrade was still the best decision I ever made." Jessica laughed. "It changed everything." Outside, the rain began to ease, and sunlight filtered through the clouds, touching the cafe window with a golden glow. Inside, 3 people shared coffee, stories, and laughter, not bound by titles or wealth or circumstance, but by years of showing up for one another when it mattered most.